to begin your project, create a slip knot and insert your hook. We're going to start with a chain. This is going to be the turtleneck part of the collar. For me, my preference was chain 15. You can make it however long you would like. Once you have it to your desired length, add another chain 3. This is going to count as our first double crochet, and then in your 5th chain back down, you're going to insert your hook into that 5th chain and do a double crochet. And you're going to insert a double crochet into every following chain down until you reach the end. You can pause here until you finish your row. I'll meet you at the end. Okay, I jumped to the end of the row. I'm about to insert my last double crochet. And that's the end of row 1. And I'm going to double check that I have 14 double crochets and 1 chain 3 for 15 double crochets in total. I lost my footage of me starting my next row, so I'm going to fast forward to when I already have a few rows completed, but it's the same thing for every row. Every time you start a new row, you're going to chain 3 and turn your work. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches down. In that 5th stitch, you're going to insert your hook into the back loop only. There, you're going to insert a double crochet. In every stitch down the row, you're going to insert your hook into the back loop only. Here I'm showing you again, in just the back loop, and create a double crochet. And you can pause here. I'll meet you at the end of the row. So at the end, I'm going to insert my last double crochet, but rather than putting it into the last loop here, which is a little bit harder for me to see, I'm just going to insert it into this space here like so. And that's my last double crochet. Make sure you're counting your double crochets and make sure it still matches the original chain length. So for me, I did a chain 15. Every time I finish a row, I count and make sure that I have 15 double crochets. So go ahead and repeat this pattern of working double crochets into just the back loop and periodically checking that every row still has the correct number of double crochets. For me, that's 15. And keep doing this until you have enough rows to wrap around your neck. Meet me back here once you have enough rows. I did a total of 30 of these for it to wrap around my neck and for it to fit over my head comfortably. So 30 rows of crocheting just into the back loop gives us this nice ribbed effect, and it also makes it very stretchy. Now that it's long enough to wrap around your neck, we're going to fold the work in half and join these two ends together. We're going to be doing slip stitches into every loop, every stitch here. Make sure that it's lined up so that the first chain lines up with the first chain on both the front and the back end. Okay, we're going to slip stitch. And remember, I had started with a chain 15, so I should be ending with 15 slip stitches. Here I'm doing my 15th slip stitch. And as you see, I have this chain 3 here. In that chain 3 space, I'm going to insert the hook and do 1 more slip stitch and then chain 2. This is going to count as our first half double crochet. And in that same chain 3 space, I'm going to add 3 half double crochets. So we have 3 half double crochets plus our chain 2. That leaves us with 1, 2, 3, 4 half double crochets. Similarly, this next space here, we're going to insert 4 half double crochets. So if you remember, I did 30 rows of this, so I'll have 30 of these spaces to make 4 half double crochets. 30 times 4 is 120. So this row, I'm going to have 120 half double crochets. This is going to set the foundation for the ruffle part of the collar. I'm not going to record myself doing 120 half double crochets, so I just skipped here to the end. So for the turtleneck part, I'm on that 30th row. In that chain space there, I'm gonna add my last 4 double crochets. And to close the row, we're gonna do a slip stitch into that first chain 2 that we made at the beginning. So into the second stitch, I'm gonna insert my hook and create a slip stitch to close the row. Next, we're going to be working on the mesh pattern of this ruffle collar neck. For this, I'm doing a chain 4. And into the very next stitch, I'm going to create a double crochet and chain 1. Then into the next stitch, I'm going to do a double crochet and chain 1. Repeat a double crochet and chain 1 into every stitch all the way around. I have 120 half double crochets, which means I'm going to have 120 double crochets with a chain 1 in between. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this all the way around, and I'll see you at the end. Okay, so I did a double crochet into each of the half double crochets, and I'm doing my 120th double crochet in this last loop here, and chain 1. Now we're going to close this row, that chain 4 that we made in the very beginning. Into the third chain of that, you're going to insert your hook and close it off with a slip stitch. So our second row of the ruffle part of the collar is complete. The third and fourth row is going to repeat the same mesh pattern. You're always going to start with a chain 4 and you're going to do a double crochet. Here I'm going to do the double crochet into the following chain 1 space that we made from the previous row. So this gap right here, I'm going to insert my hook into that chain 1 gap space, pull the yarn through and finish my double crochet. And then chain 1, and then double crochet into the following chain 1 gap. Rows 3 and 4 of this mesh pattern that we're doing right now has no increases. So you will still have 120 double crochets with a chain 1 in between each of them. I'll meet you at the end here when I finish row 4. So that's 2 more rows of this mesh pattern. Let's stop here and recap the ruffle collar part. I have 120 half double crochets for the first row, and rows 2, 3, and 4, we're doing this mesh pattern with 120 double crochets, each with a chain 1 in between. Now let's start our 5th row. This is going to be another increase row. So we're starting off with a chain 3. This counts as 1 double crochet. You're going to do your first double crochet into the chain 1 space. And for your second double crochet, you're going to insert it inside the loop here. This loop is from the double crochet that we made in the previous row. So once again, you have a double crochet inside the chain 1 space, and then you have a double crochet inside the loop on top of the previous double crochet row. If you're counting your stitches, you should end with twice the number of double crochets that you had in your previous row. In my example, I have 120 double crochets from the previous row, row number 4. So in this row number 5, I'm going to have 240 double crochets. Okay, go ahead and finish this row off. I'll meet you 240 double crochets later. Okay, welcome back. We're going to finish off row number 5. I'm just inserting my last couple of double crochets. Okay, so this is my last double crochet here in that chain 1 space. You're going to end in the chain 1 space, and you're going to slip stitch into the chain 3, that third chain. Okay, the next row is going to be fun. We're going to change up the colors here, and we're going to do that bubble stitch pattern. For my secondary color, I chose this cream colored yarn. I'm creating a slip knot, and with that, I'm going to pull that slip knot through our pre-existing loop that we have going on. Then I'm going to create a slip knot by inserting my hook into right underneath that loop that we're already on top of. yeah, just slip stitching that. I don't know if that's the best way to do it, but that's how I'm changing my colors. Start row 6 with a chain 3 and skip the first stitch into the second stitch. You're gonna act like you're doing a double crochet. Insert your hook into the second stitch, pull the yarn through, and then pull it through just 2 loops. Don't complete the double crochet. Instead, yarn over again, insert your hook into the same stitch, pull the yarn through, pull through just the first 2 loops, and stop. Now I have 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, insert your hook into the same stitch, and yarn through the first 2 loops. Now I have 4 loops on my hook. And you're going to repeat this again in the same stitch, yarn over, pull the yarn through, just the first 2 loops. Now I have 5 loops on my hook. And last time, yarn over, pull the yarn through, just the first 2 loops. And here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 from the previous. Here we're going to yarn through all 6 loops, chain 1. So this bubble crochet is going to go into every other stitch. Every time you complete a bubble, you will have 6 loops on your hook before you pull the yarn through all 6 loops and close it with a chain 1. Once you pull the yarn through that same stitch, you're just pulling the yarn through the first 2 loops every time, and then you just yarn over and insert your hook into the stitch again, never really completing that double crochet. I'm going to talk you through the bubble pattern again here. So you're going to skip the next stitch, and then into the following stitch you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, pull the yarn through, and pull it through the first 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook, and pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, one off camera, insert your hook into the same stitch, and then pull through the first 2 loops. Okay, there we go. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook, pull through just the first 2 loops until you have 6 loops on your hook, and then you can yarn through all 6 loops and then chain 1. Repeat this bubble pattern into every other stitch. Rewind and rewatch if you need to. I'm going to go ahead and skip to my last bubble stitch here. So I'm doing the same thing where I insert my hook into the same stitch 5 times. Each time I yarn over, insert my hook, pull the yarn through, and pull it through only the first 2 loops, never finishing it until I have 6 loops on my hook. Then I yarn through all 6 loops and close with a chain 1. And to finish off, I'm going to insert my hook into that very first chain 3 that we made, that 3rd chain. I'm going to insert my hook and finish with a slip stitch. Row 6 is complete. For row 7, I'm going back to the purple color. I'm just doing a slip stitch here with the purple yarn. And now we're going to chain 4. We're repeating the mesh pattern. So chain 4, yarn over, we're going to double crochet into the first stitch. The first stitch is the one from the bubble crochet. Let's go ahead and double crochet in that. And chain 1, yarn over, we're going to do a double crochet in the next stitch, which is the chain 1 that we did after closing off the bubble crochet. It can be easier to miss that chain 1 space because it is smaller. For row 7, the number of double crochets you're going to have is going to be the same as the previous, for me, the previous purple row that I have. So the previous purple row that I have is 240 double crochets. So I'm going to have in row number 7, the row that we're currently working on, 240 double crochets with a chain 1 space in between each. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish my 240 double crochets. I'll meet you at the end of this row. I'm about to finish row 7 here. I'm inserting my last couple of double crochets. Okay, this is my last double crochet I'm inserting. And then chain 1 and slip stitch into the third chain. 2, 3, that third guy right there. We're closing it just like how we've been closing the other mesh rows. Row 8, we're doing the same thing. We're going to chain 4 and we're going to be working double crochets into the chain 1 space from the previous row. So here I'm doing a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into the next space, chain 1 and double crochet into that next space, so on and so forth all the way through. This is the pattern for row 8, similar to the previous mesh rows that we had done. I'm going to go ahead and complete this row. You can pause the video here and I'll see you back at the end of row 8. And to finish row 8, you probably guessed it, I'm doing my last double crochet here, and then I'm going to chain 1 and we're going to slip stitch into that first chain 4 we made, that third chain. With that row complete, we're going to work on row number 9. Start row 9 with a chain 2. We're going to be working in half double crochets, and this is going to be our last row of increases. For this, we are inserting a half double crochet into the chain 1 space from the previous row and inside the loop here. Again, 1 inside the chain 1 space and 1 inside the following loop, all the way around. And again, this is an increase. I had 240 double crochets in row number 8. So for row number 9, I should have twice as many. That's 480. I'm going to go ahead and do my 480 half double crochets off camera. Now that you're back after that 240 double crochets, we're going to close this row by doing a slip stitch into the chain 2 that we made in the beginning, the second chain. 2 more rows left, guys. This is going to be the ruffle scallop lace edge. And again, just using my method of incorporating this color by slip stitching it into my work. Start row 10 with a chain 3. We're going to be working in double crochets. Into the same stitch here, I'm going to do a double crochet. Sorry, I got off camera there, but I'm just finishing up that first double crochet. And you're going to insert 4 double crochets into the same stitch. So that's 3 and 4. So I have 4 double crochets plus a chain 3 for a total of 5. I'm going to chain 1 and count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In that 5th stitch, I'm going to insert another 5 double crochets. Repeat this pattern all the way through row 10. 5 double crochets, chain 1, 2, 3, 4. In the 5th stitch down, insert another 5 double crochets into the same stitch. It's 3, 4, 5, chain 1, skip 1, 2, 3, 4. In that 5th stitch, again, add 5 double crochets, and yeah, you're just going to repeat that all the way around. See you at the end. I'm about to finish row 10 and I have 6 stitches left rather than 10, so I miscounted somewhere, but it's okay, we'll still work with it. So I did my chain 1 and I'm going to insert my last 5 double crochets, and I'm going to insert it into the 3rd stitch because that's the one that's in the middle. Okay, I'm doing my 5th double crochet, chain 1, and we're going to close off row 10 by doing a slip stitch into that chain 3 there, the 3rd chain. Here I'm going to turn my work and do a slip stitch inside of that chain 1 that we did to connect the row at the end. After that, I'm going to chain 3. And we're going to do a double crochet inside that same loop, that same chain 1 loop. We're going to add 4 double crochets in there. So inside the stitch we have 4 double crochets and 1 chain 3 for a total of 5 double crochets. Now you're going to chain 1 and repeat in the next chain 1 stitch. So in that stitch you're going to have 5 double crochets. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, chain 1, and in this chain 1 stitch, the next one, we're going to repeat. This is the last row here that we're doing, which is basically the same as the previous row of doing the 5 double crochets with a chain 1, and then into the next shell, you're going to insert another 5 double crochets, so on and so forth. This is going to give us the scallop edge, ruffly, lacy trim at the end of the collar. So go ahead and pause here and finish your row. I'm going to do the rest off of the camera and then I'll come back at the end of this final row. Now that you're back, what I'm working on here is doing my 5 double crochets in this last shell, that last chain 1. After you have 5 double crochets, you're going to chain 1 and close off row 11 by inserting your hook into the 3rd chain up from that chain 3 and creating a slip stitch. Now your very frilly and ruffly collar is complete. Let's try it on. If it's over my head, you have this nice ribbed turtleneck pattern, the mesh bubble pattern, and a cute scallop edge ruffly lace trim. Thank you for watching, and if you do recreate this, I would love to see it, so please tag me.